now 10:05. Okay, so we will start our meeting, everyone. Yes, again, as Michael, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to our EET 699 briefing for today. And my name is Mr. Muhammad Haikal bin Kamar Zaman. I will be your the lecture briefing today. Okay, thank you very much for coming. We have 219 students here online, and we hope I think there are more people who will be joining because there are like three faculties. But if they do come, they can still just, like I said, they can just watch the recording later. Okay, I can't wait anymore because all of you are here. I don't want to keep you waiting. Right. So let's start now. Okay. So you are here to sit for the EET 699 English speaking test. Sorry, English exit test. Okay. So for this test, you basically have two tests, right? You have one for speaking and another one for writing. Okay. So and all of you are doing the online. You're doing the online test, right? So you're not going to doing it physical. If you are doing it physical, then I have another briefing that I'll do at the after I do this one. Okay, but it's basically the same, right? You'll be doing the same thing. The only difference is the venue, right? So for a virtual meeting, for if you're taking the test virtually, you only need to have a device, right? A device doesn't matter if it's a phone, a laptop, tablet, iPhone, or whatever it is, right? Or an iPad. It doesn't matter what device you have, you can still sit for the test, right? But there will be like problems that will occur. Maybe there's a problem with the device, or maybe there's problems with internet connection. It depends. Right? It's up. It depends on the situation, right? Later. Okay. So first we'll talk about the speaking test, and then after that we'll talk about the writing test. Okay, because the speaking test will be conducted next week, right? Starting from Tuesday to Wednesday. Okay, Tuesday to Wednesday. So and yes, if you have any questions, please reserve your questions to at the end of the briefing. Okay, I'll just get through all the slides first, and then after that, we'll have a short Q&A session. Okay, right. So for you to sit, how do you sit for the speaking test? Okay, in order for you to sit for the speaking test, there's a few steps that you need to do. Right, first things first, you need to log in, right? Log in to the UITM website, okay? eet.uitm.edu.my, okay? So this is the website for the students. Then you need to log in the website by keying in your student ID and then your password. It is the same ID and password as your iStudent portal, okay? As your iStudent portal. And then once you've signed in, it will take you here, right? There's like a page here. You click on the burger button over here, and then you click take test. Okay, you click on the take test button. Once you have clicked on the take test button, it will then redirect you to something will pop up, right? It will redirect you to another page, or it will something will pop up. So this page, right? This page will indicate whether or not you are eligible to sit for the test, right? So especially if you have already made payment for EET. If you already made payment for EET, you can definitely sit for the test, but you need to make sure that all these check boxes have been checked, right? If any of these boxes are not checked, then you might need to check for any of the problems that occur. So one of the things is, like I mentioned before, the payment for EET. For EET, it covers both tests, but you do have to make payment. Once you've made the payment will follow through, and then you will be able to sit for the test. Next is the internet connection, right? Maybe the internet connection, and also you have to allow your device to record your voice. Like how you allow your device to record to give permission to you to use your microphone to speak to Google, or maybe like Cortana or Siri, right? Same thing, right? So you have to allow the EET 699 page to use your microphone in order for you to record your voice. Okay, that's one of the buttons here. And then you also need to check your internet connection, and you also have to make sure that the cache is clear and everything, so that there's no disturbance. Okay, and then at the end of the page, there is a check your mic and audio button. So you need to check your mic and audio to make sure that your voice is clear, and so that when you do the recording, the lecturers who are marking your class, right, will be able to listen to everything that you're saying. Okay, so if you are using your phone, your mobile devices, you see, oh sir, it's not there. You have to scroll down. You scroll down, and this button will be there, right? But if you use a tablet or a laptop, it will be pretty visible, right? Just there. And when you click on it, it will it will uh a sound wave will appear, right? So this is like a tester. When you click on it, you speak into your phone or device or microphone for 3 to 5 seconds, and then a sound wave will appear. You speak into it, and then you can check your audio, right? You can check your audio, make sure that it's clear. If it's not clear, then you can check it again. Okay. So once you're done with that, you can then take the test. Okay, then you start the test at the end of the page, right? But you can only access the start button once you have already checked your mic and audio. If you don't do this, then you can't really start the test lah, right? So once you're done, you scroll down the website and click start the test. Once you start the test, the audio will play automatically, okay, as each question pops up. So overall, there are 5 questions. There are five questions and 3 tasks. Sorry, yes, 3 parts and 5 questions. So the first part has 1 question. The first question is more of a conversational type question, right? And then the second part, part B, you have 3 questions. So these 3 questions are more like interview questions. Okay, so in the interview questions, you have to answer the question provided to you by the audio and also like a text on screen, and then you have to answer all these questions. So overall, there's like 3 questions for the interview. Finally, you go to part C, and the part C only has 1 question, and you are given a situation and a chart. It depends what kind of chart it is. It could be a bar graph, pie chart. It could even be a table with information, and you have to analyze this information and explain the data of that information uh, in accordance to the situation lah, to the situation given to you. So altogether, we have 5 questions. Okay, 5 questions for 5 questions for the speaking test. And once you are done with the test, you need to check your audio recording. And this is something that you have to do on your own. Okay, so you have to imagine one lecturer has more than 100 students. They can't possibly check all the audio for you, right? One by one, especially if multiple students have ended the test at the same time. Impossible, right? So what you can do to make sure that you get marks for your speaking test, you need to make sure that your audio is can be heard, your audio is there and can be heard clearly, is visible, right? It's clearly there, it's visible, and that it is recorded. Okay, we check on it. So once you're done with the test, this will appear. Okay, this will appear. So you have to check all these answers one by one, and that it has some like answers. Your answers are there and everything. So once you have checked it, you just let your lecturer know. Okay, you just let your lecturer know. Your lecturer will just check and see the audio is there. They can't really listen to all the answers at that point. They will just maybe they if they have time, they can check and see yes, all your answers are there, and then you can go. Okay, how do you leave the test? Okay, how do you leave the test? There is no save button. Once you have already recorded your answers, it will be automatically saved into the cloud, right? So you can just what you can do is you can just go to your picture here on the top right hand corner. You click on it and then you log out on your own. Okay, so if you don't log out, then someone might tamper with your answer lah. So please be sure to log out of the page, okay, of the website. Once you log out, then you have already considered to have finished your speaking test, and that's the end of it. Okay, right. So for the speaking test, that is how you take the speaking test. But I'm sure you have questions like how do we correct any mistakes that we have, right, that we make during the test. You can redo the questions. And how do you do that? You just need to contact your lecturer. Okay, let's say you have already listened to all the audios here at the end of the test, right? And you find that part B, question 1, the first interview question, is not really clear. The audio is not there or something's wrong somewhere. You just let your lecturer know. I would like to redo my first question for part C, or maybe you can just say the second question. If you say the second question, your lecturer will know lah, right? So you just let them know, and they will reset the second question only. Okay, so when they reset the second question, you have to retake the test again. Okay, you have to retake the test again, and then you just have to wait for the question to appear, and then you have to redo the question again. Itu sahaja. Okay, but there is a there is something that you need to know. When you retake the question, okay, the audio will play from beginning to end again. It will start again from start to finish. It will play the first, second, third, fourth, fifth audio, regardless on whatever questions that you are redoing. Okay. So if you are doing the second question here, right, you just have to be quiet for the first one. Okay, the first question is already recorded, right? Just be quiet for that one. Even if they give you like a time to answer, you just stay quiet. Okay. You just stay quiet, and then you only speak up during the question that you are going to retake. So in this case, it is the second question. So the second question here, you only then do you redo your answer. Okay. After that, you have to stay quiet again for all three of the other questions, and after that, habis lah. That's it. Then you have to make sure that just have to make sure that all the audios are there, and once it's there, you just let your lecturer know. Then you can log out. Okay. I think that's it for the speaking test. Okay, so do you have any questions so far? Okay, I'll do the Q&A after each section lah. Okay, so do you have any questions so far for the speaking test, or is everything clear? All clear? Okay, Adina says it's clear. What about the rest of you? Were there any parts of the test that were confusing, or that you want me to repeat if you are unclear of what to do? All clear? Okay, Ida says she is clear also. Okay, so if everyone is clear, right? I will now go to the second slide here. Okay, macam biasalah, right? So with every test, it comes with academic integrity, right? Because integrity starts with you, right? You have been in UITM for how long now, right? So you should already know this by now, right? So academic integrity starts with you. Say no to academic dishonesty, and we would like to implore you to avoid any plagiarism, fabrication, deception, or cheating. And if you are caught in any type of academic misconduct, you will be automatically reserved the lowest band. So altogether, there are 6 bands: A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So automatically you get A1 regardless. Okay. And then you will either be asked to, if you're taking the test physically, you will either be asked to leave the room, or we will take note, and then we'll take note of your answers and who you are, and then we will give you the lowest band lah. Okay. Okay, so this is not the time to rely on ChatGPT, right? This is the time to test your skills, right? Throughout the years of you being UiTM, to show what you have, right? What you can show for, okay? In all your years of learning, primary school, secondary school, tertiary education, right? So itulah dia. Okay, we say this because we have caught like students before, where very visibly the student like take a picture of their website, and then in the second tab there is ChatGPT, terang-terang dah ada. So we took note, we let the student know that we'll be taking action. Lepas tu dah tak ambil lah, macam tu saja. Okay, so of course we can't really monitor, but it's up to you. Okay, it's up to you to decide who you want to be, and then up to you to decide how you want your marks to be taken. Okay, you dengan Tuhan saja. Okay, right. Okay, that's it. Oh yeah, that reminds me one other thing. For English speaking tests, okay, since it is an online, okay, since it is oh god, okay, since it is an online test, you have to make sure that there is only one tab open, okay, only one tab open during the test. This is because the website will confuse which tab is using the microphone. So if you have multiple tabs open, it will definitely disrupt the answer taking process. Okay, so if you have multiple tabs open, it'll be very difficult, right? So only have one tablet open for the test. And if you, whether you're taking the English speaking test or the written test, same thing, right? So only open one tablet, okay, one tablet in your what on your browser, and then just leave it there. Okay, so the if you open one tab, it will only it only detect only one tab. Excuse me, that's sendawa. Okay, only one tab will detect the microphone. If you open multiple tabs and you go from one tab to the other, and then it will get confused, right? Of course, it's not perfect, but in order for you to to get good answers, just make sure that no problems occur. Just make sure that you do that lah. Other things that you can do to prepare for the English test, you make sure that you are situated in a place where you have strong internet connection, right? If you know that your room or your house has, weak internet connection, move to a place where you have strong internet connection. Hopefully, you won't have any problems then. Okay, because usually problems that occur when students can't sit for the test or they have trouble recording is usually the internet. You've not made any payments, or not made any payments, or there is a problem with the device. One of these three things. It's usually that because everything else is just tak ada lah, just these three things only, right? So just make sure that you have strong internet connection, regardless of where you are. That's first thing. The second thing you need to do is you have to make sure that your device is working properly. Okay. Prepare a check in advance whether or not your microphone is working, if your speaker is working, right? Your microphone, let's say your laptop speaker dah rosak dah berapa lama kan? You and you have not like addressed it. So how do you combat this problem, right? How do you address this problem? Maybe you can use headphones, right? Maybe you can even use like earphones with a microphone at the end, right? You can do that too. So, right? So find solutions to your problem. Okay. Don't blame the system, like usually it's the device. Right? Okay. So that's another thing. Okay, please check your audio, please check your speaker, please check your microphone to see if it's working. If it's not working, look for another device. If your laptop has problems, look for a tablet. You can maybe even use your phone, no problem. Okay, but if it still has problems, like I said, try with headphones or maybe with earphones. Okay, the next thing is the browser. Okay, reportedly, Mozilla Firefox is the most stable browser to handle EET 699. Yeah, 699. Okay, so if you don't have more Mozilla Firefox, you can download one, right, the browser, and then you take the test there. But there have been reports where students have successfully taken EET with Safari or maybe even Google also boleh juga, right? But the most stable, I'm just saying that the most stable browser is Mozilla Firefox. So if you don't have Mozilla Firefox, you can download. If you already have it, you can use that too. If it's not working, then you can choose to use like another browser or something. Okay, so when you have everything ready, you have to go to your history button here. So like you go here, right, and you go to one of the, I forgot which one, but I think the history button, and after that you click on clear cache. You clear cache and then you clear history, just to make sure that there is no disruptions within the website or within the browser itself. Okay, just to make everything clear, and so that we don't have any further problems. Well, if you do that, hopefully there will be no further problems lah. What else? I think that's it, okay, for taking the test online. Okay, so everything clear? Okay, do you have any questions on whatever I mentioned earlier? Ada tak? Tak ada. Yes, Haris.
Sorry.
Ira. Katakan.
Tak, saya memang ada soalan.
Yes, okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Apa ni, saya cuma tak clear berkenaan masa untuk ambil test dengan venue tempat. Saya kurang clear je, tu je.
Okay, so that is the question for your faculty, right? Whether or not you are taking the test physically or online, right? I think that is a question that you can ask your faculty because we don't have that information. Your faculty will be the one to assign where what you will be doing, how you will take the test. Okay,
Okay, thank you, sir.
welcome very much. Okay, Ira,
Assalam, sir. Sorry for disturbing.
Waalaikumsalam.
May I
It's okay.
know when and where can we get this recording session?
This
Because
recording
just now
session.
I masuk lambat, so I
Okay.
only get half of it.
Okay, right. If we, I think it will be released to your faculty also, right? Because this is still recording now. So when we are done with the meet, it will still take some time to render the video or something, right? Usually it's like that. Maybe by after Friday prayers. Hopefully you get it soon so that we can distribute it to all the students. If I'm not mistaken, it will be distributed to the faculty, and the faculty will be the one to send it to each and every one of their students.
Before
Which
the
faculty?
EET, right?
Yes, definitely before the EET, because the speaking test will be done in from Tuesday to Thursday next week. And then the written test will be conducted on 3rd of February. So the week after that, on Tuesday. The written test only one day because we're doing it on UFuture. But for speaking test, we're using the website and there's like an abundance of data going in. So we need 3 days at different time slots as well. Okay. But definitely you'll get it before the test takes place. All right, thank you. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention. For your tests, you might assume that the we have 3 days for the test. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? We have 3 days for the test. And you must feel that bila-bila pun boleh ambil this test kan. But no, your faculty will determine who will go for each time slot. So each test it will take like 1 hour. Is it 1 hour for if I'm not mistaken for each slot there's a specific amount of time. I forgot with it. Is it 1 hour or 1.5 hours? If I'm not mistaken, it's 1 hour, right? So every hour you will have different groups of students taking the test, and you have to make sure that you are available during your time slot. Okay, during your time slot, because the lecturer in charge of your class or your group will be taking care. Will be monitoring that session lah. For example, you are doing it the first session on Tuesday. Tuesday, 8 o'clock, that's your session. Make sure that you are there and ready and take the test because that is the time that your lecturers are available to invigilate all of you, basically, right? If you can't make it to the test on that day at that time, you have to reschedule for another time. You have to usually take it on a different month, let's say February, end of February or early March, because that is the special test. So to avoid doing the special test, just make sure that you are available on the actual day that you are assigned to take the test. Very important, huh? If especially if you have like plans that you have going on in February or early March, then you don't want to disrupt any of your plans. So make sure that you go to your slots. Okay. Okay, all right. So there's few questions here in the chat room. I only just saw it. Okay, let me address. Where can we access this recording? I already mentioned this before. May I know where we get the recording session? Same thing. And someone asked, Nur Amalina asked, Sir, I have a question. Does that mean we don't have to bring our own device or do we need to? Okay, if you are doing it physically, you will go to a lab then so you don't have to bring your own device. If you're doing it virtually, you're doing it in your own device, right? Then since you're using your own devices, you use your own device lah, right? You have to use your own laptop or tablets or phones. Okay, but this is only if it is done virtually. If you are scheduled to do the test physically, there is a lab you have to go to. You have to go to the lab and sit for the test in the lab, right? So with the lab's computers and headphones, so you just go there and do the test. Okay. Next, physical means do we need to test in the faculty using, I answered this question. Okay, but sir, do we need to bring our own earphones to the lab? Usually no, right? Usually they have their own headphones and earphones maybe, but just to be safe, because sometimes the headphones don't really work. You know how these devices are. Some are old, some are new, and some are faulty. We don't know, right? So just to be safe, you bring your own one, okay, so they can connect it, and hopefully it works like that way. Okay, if not, if it still doesn't work, then you might need to change PC, change your PC. From your PC, you move to another PC, and then you take the test. Okay, right. Okay, so I think this is all the questions we have for speaking. Right, I haven't addressed this reading yet. Okay, now let's get to reading. Reading, but sorry, writing. Oh yeah, and if you see here, there's a video, right? There's a video here, right? This video will be shared with you with your lecturer assigned to your group. They will share this video with you later. Okay. So I won't show this video lah. Nanti ambil masa lama. Okay, so now we are doing writing. Okay. So I will now go through the infographic and guidelines for you for the writing test. Okay. Right. Excuse me. Right. So for the English exit test writing, as I mentioned before, it will be done on the 3rd of February, which is next week on Tuesday. Okay, next week on Tuesday. And please be sure that you are available on that day, lah, right? And for this test, also you have certain slots that you have to sit for the test, and you have to be sure that you are available on that day for your slot for the test. Okay. If you are not if you can't take the test on that day, like I said, you also have to sit for the special test, which is at an undetermined time. We're not sure when the special test will be taking place, but it's usually a month away. So if you want to avoid all these things from happening, make sure that you come to the actual day and the actual test for your slot. Okay. Okay. Next. Okay, for the English writing test. For this one, it's slightly easier, not to say easy, but it's easier to access because it is done in U Future, right? So you go to U Future, but the first thing you need to do, you need to join the EET 699 subject. Once you are done with the EET 699 subject, you can sit for the test. Okay. Okay. So the writing test session for the students will be announced by the examiner in your respective WhatsApp groups, and the test will take approximately 1.5 hours. Okay, so it takes 1.5 hours to complete both 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 tasks. Okay, both tasks. Okay, so you have 3 steps here. How to instructions on how to take the test. Steps you need to take before the test, during the test, and also after the test. Okay, so before the test, you have to make sure that you have already joined the EET 699 subject, and then you can actually take the test. You're already registered, right? So you go to Future, you log in, and then you click on view, right, as normal, and then there is an infographic here for you that your lecturers will also share with you when the time comes, when you've already joined the groups, right? For better viewing lah. But I'll also explain what you have to do later. No worries. Okay, so there are steps you need to take in order for you to take the test, and this is how you do from A to Z everything. Okay, should we cover this? I'll cover this also, but I'll just go through this particular slide, and then we'll go into this slide more detail later. Okay. Okay. Alah, ni sikit je. Macam kena buat je, let's do it now. Let's just do it now. Okay. Right, so how do you take the test? Like I said, it is done in U Future. Wait, can you see the slide? It might be a bit blurry. Can you see the slide? Nampak tak? Oh, sekarang tak lah kan? But wait. Clear? Okay, cantik.
Nampak doktor.
Nampak? Okay, cantik. Right. When you take your writing test, okay, like I said, go to U Future, you go to the subject EET 699, then you click on view. Sorry lah kalau dia blur. Very sorry. I can't really do anything about it, but here we go. Okay, so once you click on view, you go to the left-hand side, there's a burger button over there. And then in that burger button, something will pop up here, like this black part here, right? And then you click on click on continuous assessment, and then you click on assessment. This will redirect you to the test. Okay, and then when you click on assessment, then you click at the assessment. Okay, click Allah, sorry. Then you click at the assessment, and then you will go to your slot. Okay, so here you will see a lot of different lot of tasks. No, sorry, there are two tasks, but at different time slots. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to look for your time slot. So for example, task one, group two or group three, depends, right? It depends on what slot you're given, but you only click on your slot and the time that you have to take for the slot. So for example, if you have to take the test from 10 to 12, right? The test is 1.5 hours, but they give like an extra 30 minutes for any technical issues. So you look for the time stamp, not time stamp. Look at the time given there, 10 to 12. That's your slot. You click on that one. So you have here for the English writing test, you have two tasks, task one and task two. You have to answer both tasks within the time frame given, 1.5 hours. And when you do, you are given a question, and when you are given a question, you click on tick here, right? There is a question that will pop up, and then they will provide you an answer box for you to type your answers in. Okay, you type your answer here, and then you click finish. Okay, sorry. Then you click to move on to the next question. Okay, next question, next question. Okay, so when you are done with the test, click on finish, then click on submit. Okay, finish, and then you need to check your answer by clicking on the answer box again. Okay, and then click submit. So once you are done submitting your answer, that is only for task one. Okay, you have to do the same thing for task two as well. So there are two tasks. Remember, there are two tasks. Make sure that you answer both tasks in order for you to complete the writing test. And when you are done with the writing test, habislah, itu saja. So when you are done, let's let your lecturer know, and then they will take note. Okay, maybe you have to sign, or maybe only then you can sign your attendance, right? Or let your lecturer know. Then once you're done, then you are done for your test for the day. Itu saja. Okay, so that's how you take the test lah. But don't worry if you have any questions about how to take the test. You will have time to check the website, UFuture, and actually go like where the test is to see how it looks like, right? For you to get a better picture. But this infographic will also be shared with you. Excuse me. This infographic will also be shared with you by your designated lecturers later for you to have a closer look at what you'll be facing. Okay. Okay. Yes. And again, please avoid plagiarism. Okay. Please avoid plagiarism because we want you to do the best that you can. Even if you can't do it very well, but at least you have your integrity with you and that you complete it on your own, with your own efforts rather than having AI do it for you. Buat last sendiri. Okay. All right. Okay. Be honest, have integrity, and do not plagiarize. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's it for this slide. Okay, what else? What else do we have? Okay, here we have. Okay, so and there will be for you to take the writing test, right? You have a password that you'll be given. Okay, and this password will usually be given 5 minutes before the test starts. Your lecturer will be the one who will be giving you the password later. So please make sure that that you remind your lecturer if you get, especially if you get your passwords late, right? It's like 2 to 3 minutes before the test starts at 10 o'clock, and you still don't get your password. You need to remind your lecturer. Mungkin dia lupa, maybe if they're running late, we don't know, right? But usually you'll get it 5 minutes before the test starts, so you can log in and prepare to take the test. Then at 10 you can take the test. Okay, there are two writing tasks. You have to submit both tasks. The password is the same for both tasks. For task one and task two is the same. So for each slot, the password will be different. So let's say if you want to have a look at the 8 o'clock session, right? The 8 o'clock session with your password, tak dapat. Memang tak dapat, right? You only have your own session, so the password is only designated for your session only. Okay. Okay, so in summary, for you to take the test, this is what you have to do. You can take a screenshot of this if you like, but again, this will also be shared with you by your group lecturer, right? By your group lecturer, and this weekend lah, this weekend before you do the test, so that you can try and like have a better idea on what to do. But this is for the writing test, right? So you still have like 2 weeks to 2 weeks to prepare for this writing test, right? So I think that's it. Right. Okay. Do you have any questions about the writing test, or maybe even the speaking test? Maybe I missed out on a few questions. Maybe do you have any questions from the floor? Sir, can we do task 2 first, then task 1? Can. Right? You can do task 2 first, then task 1, no problem. But as long as you do both tasks, if you miss even one, then you won't get full marks for this one. So instead of getting like C1, you reserve the C1, but then you can get C1 because you only did like one question, right? So make sure you do both. But whichever first, doesn't matter. Is it task 1.5 hours, and then task 2 1.5 hours, or both tasks in 1.5 hours? The answer is both tasks in 1.5 hours. Okay, so you need to make sure that you complete everything. Okay, you complete everything in 1.5 hours. So the wait, let me just stop sharing first. Stop sharing. Okay. Okay. Right. So where was I? Okay, can you go back to the guy? Okay, you want to write our answers in docs first? Can wait. Alah, dah terlepas. Okay. So 1.5 hours. So the test, right? So for the test, they say that since it's 1.5 hours, they say that for the first task, you should probably do it in 50 minutes, and then for the second task, 20 minutes, or vice versa. Tengoklah mana. But you definitely need to finish it in 1.5 hours. Okay. Okay, so do we need to go to a venue for the writing test? No, you don't have to go to a venue for the writing test. It is done online. Unless you have to do it physical, then you need to ask your faculty about the venue. Maybe you have to go to the lab, and with the lab, you have to go and do the test in the lab. Maybe lah, right? But I don't know where your venue is. You need to ask your faculty. But if you're doing it virtually, right, you just need to open your laptop or tablet, like I mentioned before, and then you need to access UFuture, which all of you have access to UFuture anyway. Um, okay, which you know the what? Which you know, which all of you have like access to UFuture anyway. So if you can access UFuture, you can take the writing test, no problem. Okay, but I'm not sure about the physical ones. You might need to go to your faculty and ask whether you're doing it face to face or physical or virtual. Okay, next question. Nini asked, do we can if you want to write our answers in notes or docs first, can or not? I guess, right? But what's stopping you from just doing it in the test first? Can you can? It's not like you can. It's not like when you conteng, you cannot padam, right? It's on a computer, right? So even if you write anything, right, just make sure the answer's there, right? So, but I would I would like implore that you do it on the site itself lah. Don't open the docs. Just the same thing. Okay, can you open back the guidelines for the speaking test? Guidelines for the speaking test. I'll do one at the end. Okay, I'll do one at the end. Or you can even watch the recording later. It's a bit lengthy, right? But I'll just do like a very quick one before we end the session for today. Okay, Abbas, itulah masih lambat lagi. Okay, so does this mean even if we are physical, we have to do the test online? Yes, because the test is in UFuture, right? And since it is in UFuture, the writing test will be conducted online. It's just the venue, like I mentioned before. If you're doing it physically, then you have to go to a lab and sit in front of the PC, the faculty's PC, and do the test in UFuture. If you're doing it virtually uh, in your own hometown or wherever it is, right? You still have to do it, right? You still get to do it by on your own devices. Okay. It depends on what your faculty has decided. And whatever your faculty decide, you have to follow. Okay, you have to follow. Okay, so both tests need to use devices. So do any paper used for both tests? Adwa, do you mean for the written test or for the speaking? Speaking, of course, no paper. But for the writing test, no paper. Everything virtual. Okay, everything virtual. Everything in future. Okay. Sir, may I know the actual date for all the EET tests? Okay, so for the speaking test, it'll be next week from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Uh, I'll even give you the date. Okay, so our speaking test will be from 27 to 29th of January. And for the written test, it will be conducted on the 3rd of February. Satu hari saja. The written test will be only be done in 1 day. 1 day. Yes, 1 day. 1 day on the 3rd of February. Okay. So when we'll know the date for the speaking test, I dah baru je cakap. So for confirmation, writing and listening be conduct on future. Meanwhile, writing conduct on own website. Apa ni? You cakap pun pening. Okay, so again, listening has its own website. The speaking, not listening, the speaking test, right? So for the speaking test has its own website. Okay. So when your lecturers, when you already join your group lecturers, the lectures with your, the group with your lecturers, they will also remind you on what website to join. It is eet.edu.my. Yes, www.eet.edu.my. So that's a website for students. Okay, and the separate website is only for speaking. Writing is for future, right? Writing is the one you do on future. Okay, so don't get it twisted, Don't get confused. Guys, this on venues all handled by your respective faculties. Exactly, right? But the dates for the test is always on, for this semester is on 27 to 29. But what are your sessions? What are your slots? We don't know. We don't know. You don't know. So that is something that your faculty will, assign to you later. So you have to be ready lah on when you have to take the test. It might be on Tuesday, it might be on Wednesday or even Thursday, and it depends on what time they give you. It could be 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, tengok lah, right? Whatever. But that will be decided by your faculty. So please ask your faculty. Nini asks, in case there's a problem with our future, at least our answers won't be missing. It won't go missing. Inshallah, it won't go missing because everything is recorded in future. It will only go missing if you delete it or if there's problems with the system. But even if there is like a problem with the system, we will let you know. But usually tak ada. We have been doing EET for many semesters already. So far, we have no problem with that. I think it's because they have like a separate, I don't know what it's called, but like a different cloud for the answers, only for the answers who ada banyak. It's a lot of space there. So don't worry. Okay, don't worry. Your answers will be recorded. Okay, either speaking or writing. All right. Any other questions? Yes. No, say all clear. Okay. Afika, can you speak up? I can't hear you. Yes, yes. Ah.
Meaning that we end everything on the of February or it is
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you. It's a bit, dia macam line tak ada lah. Can you like type it instead?
Hello, sir.
Yes, now it's clear. Okay.
Sir,
Clear.
so that meaning we end all EET tests on the 3rd of February?
Yes, unless you can't come on the day that you're supposed to take the test, so you have to sit for a special test that will be conducted like a month later. But we don't know, even we don't know when the date will be. So make sure you come and sit for the test on your designated session. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Abdul Rahman asks, how can we know the group? You ask your faculty. Okay? This is a question that should be directed to your faculty. They should be the ones to tell who your groups and also who are your lecturers, who the lecturer in charge for your group is. Okay, so please ask your faculty. Hari ni ada, what time is it now? It's 10:50. Maybe after this session, you can go ask your faculty. can urge them to, urge them to create groups quickly, faster, right? So that later you can divide yourselves into groups and divide, join, join your lecturers, WhatsApp groups also. You don't want to waste time, right? Okay. Any other questions? All clear, all clear, sir. Thank you. All right. Right. If you don't have any other questions, one of you did mention, did ask that if I could repeat the what repeat the infographic for the speaking test. Excuse me. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, good. Okay, so Nini also mentioned, kindly check your student emails, people, right? Okay, so please check your student emails. Information should be there. Okay, so I'll share the infographic for the speaking test again. Okay. Window. Okay. Speaking test again, but I'll just do it one more time because later you can also watch the recording, right? You can also watch the recording later. So that is, I'll just go through very quickly. Okay. So for the infographic for the for the speaking test, okay, for the speaking test, you have your own website, right? Some of you were asking, sir, what's the website? This is the website, okay? So, but your lecturers will also remind you on the website later as well. So, and you will also get this infographic later, right? Don't worry, you'll get this infographic later. So this is the website. You key in the website using your student number and also your password. Is it the same? It is the same as your student portal. Siapa cakap tu? Okay. No, she's still there. Okay, hilang lah. Oh, she's there again. Okay. Next, when you sign in, there you click on the burger button. Aduh, siapa cakap ni? Who's speaking? Oh, the destiny. Okay. Where was that? Okay. She's there again. Ah.
Sir, I think you are muted.
You mute your mic.
Oh, I muted. Okay. How long was I muted for? Was I muted the whole time?
10 seconds.
Second slide. Tak apalah, I just repeat again. Okay, so first log in the EETUITM website, this one. Once you log in, the password is the same as your iStudent portal, right? And then you click on the burger button here, right? Click on the burger button. It should be on the top left-hand side or top right-hand side of the page. And you click on take test. And then this page will appear. And then you have to check your mic and audio. But first, you need to make sure that all these checklists are checked, right? So this is the payment. This refers to like the payment, the internet connection. You have not taken the test yet, right? So once you've checked all the boxes, then you can check your mic and audio. So when you check your mic and audio, you have to click on this button. When you click on this button, a sound wave will appear, right? There's like a timer, and then once the timer is over, then you can start speaking, and then it will record your voice for 3 to 5 seconds. Then you need to check whether or not the audio is clear. So this is how you check that your audio is clear and that it's audible and that there are no static or whatever. If there is like static in the audio, you might need to use headphones or earphones or maybe change your device in case like your answers can't be recorded. But if everything is good, everything is clear, you can click on start the test button. Okay, when you click on the start the test button, the audio will play. The audio and the audio for the questions will appear one by one. So like we have 5 questions here, right? So question 1 will appear and the audio will play automatically. And once the audio has ended, you have given time to prepare. So tak adalah dia baca soalan then you have to terus answer, right? For let's say the first question, you have like 10 seconds or 15 seconds to prepare for your answer. You can think of your answer. And after that, you provide your answer. Then you start speaking. Right? The sound wave will appear. You can start speaking. And then if I'm not mistaken, the first question is 1 minute. You have to answer for 1 minute. And then when it's done, you will move on to the second question, third, fourth, fifth question. And once all the questions have been answered, right? Have been answered, this will appear. Okay, and the recording for all your questions, the audio for all your questions will appear here, and it is your job to make sure that the audio is there. Make sure the audio is clear, everything is recorded, right? And then you can log out. There is no save button, right? There is no save button. When you finish recording, it will automatically be saved, and you can just log out. So the next thing you have to do is you just have to log out. When you log out, you're done with the speaking test. Okay, so before this, I did mention if you have any trouble with the audio. Let's say the second question. Tadi dah second question and let's take the third question dah. Let's say the third question ni, the audio is not clear. You are not you can't hear the audio, maybe they're static, we don't know, right? There's issues with the third recording, so you want to redo your answers for the third recording. So you have to tell your lecturer in charge, the one in the group. You tell them, not tell lah, macam suruh-suruh orang pula kan. You ask them whether or not you can redo the third question. Your lecturer will then ask for your ID. They don't know who you are, right? They will ask for your ID. You provide them your full name and ID. I forgot to mention this earlier, so bagus lah juga. You give them your full name and ID, and then they will reset this question for you, only the third question here for you, and then you can retake the test. Okay, so for you, in order for you to retake the test, once the lecturer has already reset the third question, you have to click on the retake test button again for you to redo the third question again. Okay, I hope that's clear. But if you do retake the third question, you have to wait for the third question to appear, because the audio will play from start to finish again. So it will play from question number 1, and then question number 2, okay, and then question number 3. So when question number 1 and question number 2 appears, you don't have to say anything. You just have to stay quiet because your answers have already been recorded. You only need to speak during the third question only. Okay, only during the third question. And when you are done with the third question, you have redone the third question, it will play the audio for the fourth question and the fifth question again. But again, just stay quiet, and then it will redirect you to this page again. Okay, this page again, we have to check your audio. If you find that your audio is not there, okay, let's say number 1, number 2, you didn't say anything right this time around, it's not there, it's fine. Just have your lecturer check your answers and to see whether or not your answers have already been uploaded, has already been saved in the cloud. Usually it is, right? Usually it is. If it's there, then you can log out. Okay, so you click on your picture here on the top right hand button on screen, and then you can log out. Habis itu sahaja. Okay, I hope everything's clear with this one, yeah. And also I will not repeat anything else after this. Just watch the recording. Okay, it is sahaja. Any questions?
So when
Yes.
can we get the recording?
For this one today, maybe in the afternoon. Hopefully by then it has been rendered into like a video, because it is in one of my colleagues' OneDrive. When the audio is there, everything when the audio has already been like rendered, then they will share this recording with your faculty, or they'll because I won't be seeing you after this, right? So how else will you get the recording? If I'm not mistaken, it will be given to your faculties, and then your faculties will distribute the recording to you. Okay. Okay, wait, what else? Sir, the duration for the speaking test. Speaking test, 1 hour. 1 hour. But you can actually get everything done in half an hour if there aren't any problems with the test. Problems with the test, meaning there are no internet problems, device problems, recording problems, payment problems. If there's no issues with the speaking test in that regard, everything goes smooth, smooth sailing. Half an hour pun dah boleh habis. but we give you like 1 hour and 1 hour or 1 hour 50 minutes, I'm mistaken. 1 hour, tak silap, just 1 hour, right? So 1 hour, yeah. Wait, one Fatia asks, will all faculties conduct the speaking test online or does it depend on the faculty? It depends on your faculty. Okay, because the faculties will decide whether or not you as a student in your group be doing it physically or online, physically or virtually. Terpulang. It's up to your faculty. This is also something you need to ask the faculty as well. So 1 hour for speaking and 1.5 hours for writing. Yes, indeed. Hmm. Apa lagi? Not user, tutup mic guys. Oh tak, tu orang lain. Wait a minute. Okay. Alicia asks, sir, is there a time limit to how long you can answer per question for the speaking test? Okay. It's different for every question. The first question, not the interview, the more casual, the conversational question for question number 1 is 1 minute. For the interview questions have 3 questions. So question number 2, 3, and 4 are interview questions. So for the interview questions, question number 2 is 1 minute. They have 1 minute to answer. Question number 3 is 2 minutes. They have 2 minutes to answer. Question number 4, which is the final question for the interview, also 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Only 2 minutes. But don't worry, even if you have like 1 or 2 minutes, you will be given a time for you to prepare your answers. So tak adalah you dapat soalan, you terus jawab. Tak ada, not like that, right? Kita tidak sekejam itu. Right, you have ample time to come up with your answers. 1 minute, 10 seconds, half a minute, 30 seconds. It depends, right? 30 seconds to 1 minute, right? I can't remember the preparation time, but you do have preparation time, right? And then for the final question, question number 5 is the question with the situation and the infographic, right? No infographic, the chart. We are even given either a chart or a table. We have to analyze based on the situation. That one, you get 3 minutes to answer. Yeah, 3 minutes to answer that one. And you have 1 minute to prepare, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, so I hope I answered your question. Okay, next, Nur Shazlin Alicia asks, usually the time slot is given by the person or by the group or the class. What do you mean? The time slot is given by your faculty. They're the ones who assign your slots, right? So ask your faculty. Because there are many groups, not just yours, there are many groups. One faculty has many groups. All the faculties have even more groups. And one lecturer has paling sikit usually dua lah. But then the most I myself got was 5, 6, 5 or 6 groups at one time. And one group has like 20 to 30 people. So ramai lah. Imagine what the whole UiTM, not just your faculty in Shah Alam, but also the students taking EET in branch campuses in Borneo, Belah Utara, Belah Selatan, everywhere. Everyone's doing the test at the same time, right? So they're the ones who will assign slots. You just need to attend the sessions for your slot. Make sure you're there, and then sit for the test. Okay. Is there any specific marks do we need to achieve to get a grade band? Apa ni? Is there any specific marks you need to achieve a grade band? Ada ke? Okay, I'll just tell you the band lah, right? I won't tell you the marks because I can't remember, but I'll tell you the band lah. A1, the lowest, there's 6 bands overall. Lowest one is A1, then A2. That means that you are very beginner level, and then you have B1 and B2, which means intermediate or upper intermediate, right? And then after that, you have the what's it again? You have the more proficient level, C1, C2, So depending on how proficient you are during the speaking and writing tests, these bands will be assigned to you. You will achieve this band. So it's entirely up to you. Okay. Okay. Last question by. What is the type of question for the last one? Situational based on a situation based on a chart or graph. Macam tu, Abbas. Okay. Wait, Afika Faria says, especially for the date, I'm actually holding my plans on buying a plane ticket. Will EET test date change somehow and possibly after 3 bulan 2, or is it will be end on the 3rd of February? It will end on the 3rd of February. But again, we don't know, we don't know our slots, right? The sessions, I mean, for the writing test. So if you want to buy a plane ticket, maybe buy it on the 4th of February instead, right? 4th of February instead, so that you don't tak adalah kelang kabut, right? Just to be safe, right? Because the writing test, there's a lot of preparation being conducted and like put into the test. So I don't think they'll postpone it on another day. A lot of people are depending on the time to follow exactly the time frame to follow the exact time frame that we assign. So I don't think it will change, right? So the writing test will be on the 3rd of February. Any specific format? Okay, I hope that answers your question. Is there any specific format we need to follow for the writing test? Not really. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's an email. Once an email. Lah. No, there's no format. As long as you answer within the word limit, within the word count, should be fine. But usually it's either in one paragraph or separate paragraphs, right? It's up to you. It's up to you to arrange the sentences and the points for the written test, right? But as long as you stick to the word limit, should be fine. Try not to exceed lah, right? Try not to exceed, because usually they won't mark anything after the word limit. Contoh lah, word limit is 200. After 200 words, tak tengok dah. They only read the 200 words only. Is it similar with Muat? Which one? What's similar with Muat? The writing, the speaking? Writing? Is it similar, Mr. Muat? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's a bit different. So you just have two tasks and you have to answer the question. Answer the questions in the space provided. So I don't think it's similar to Muat. Okay, Hurin Zanati asks, okay, thank you, Ira, for your question. Okay, Hurin asks, for the speaking test, do we need to record and submit, or will it be submitted automatically? It will be submitted automatically. So if you look at what was it again? The infographic that I showed you earlier, once the recording has been recorded on the right-hand side of the page, at the bottom right-hand side of the page, that means it has already been recorded. You just have to log out. Lepas tu dah habis. Itu saja. Okay. You don't have to record like your own recording and then submit. No need. Everything will be done on the website. You only need to do this if there's problems with the website. Okay, but only when your lecturer tells you to. If your lecturer doesn't say anything, you just record on the website itself. Okay, should be no problem. Okay, so Hurin, hopefully I've answered your question. Azwa asks, so the speaking test will be conducted online for all faculties? It depends. Some faculties also do it physically, right? Like before this, I did invigilate like students from applied science who had to do it physically also. So they had also like a physical test and also invigilated like a virtual test. So it depends. Writing is virtual. But if it is physical, then you just have to go to a lab and do the test in future. We'll still use the PC, but the only difference is the venue. So if you're doing it virtually, you can be anywhere and sit for the test. But if you have to do it physically, There's a venue that your faculty has already set aside for you to do the test. You need to go to the test in your session for you to take the test. Itu saja. Okay. Will there be example questions for speaking and writing so that we can see how the test is going to be? I don't think so, no. Right? No, I don't think so, no. Because they are mostly very it's similar to what you've already probably done before if you've taken ELC or LCC subjects, right? If you've taken like any speaking test, whether in diploma or in degree, it's the same. But but I did tell you like what type of questions will be answered. You just don't know the questions, right? So you can look up any of these questions on your own in YouTube, maybe, or maybe like any available websites out there. Okay. And then you can practice lah on your own. Okay, like pass your test tak ada. Okay, any other questions? We have gone like 1 hour, almost. It's already 1 hour. The briefing has gone over 1 hour, but the recording is 1 hour and 30 minutes. Just because I entered the group the meet earlier. Yeah, teacher. Any other questions before we go? All clear? No questions. Okay. So if you have any questions, please be wary of your lecturers who will be in charge of you. Please check for their WhatsApp groups in UFuture. Usually there's like an announcement in EET 699 for each of you. So if you are assigned to this lecturer, look out for their announcements in UFuture, okay? Or emails. Okay, they will do one of these three things. They will either add you to their WhatsApp groups personally, they do it on their own, but I don't think that I very much doubt that will happen because there's so many of you. Next thing is they will email you, so they will get your emails from the UITM website and then send you emails. So please be wary of any emails asking you to join like a WhatsApp group for EET or something. And the last one is the announcement in UFuture. So when you go to EET 699, you go to the announcement option, you click on it and you look for don't just enter any group. You look for your lecturer. Once you have identified what your groups are, let's say you are AS something, group 12, for example. You look only for the announcement for group 12 and don't join any other groups. Okay. There's been many times where students accidentally join one of my groups and then they join my groups just to ask me their lecturers phone numbers for them to text or message. Text or call, right? So macam banyak kerja dah pula kan. So you just look out for the group the lecturers announcements. If they have not yet provided like a group, you can always ask for their phone numbers from the faculty. They should have the information. They should have the information. But usually over the weekend, they'll do it over the weekend. So you have to join the groups over the weekend. All announcements will be given over the weekend as well to prepare you for the speaking test this coming Tuesday to Thursday. Okay? Cantik. Itu saja. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Everyone, thank you very much for coming and listening to the briefing. I wish you all the best for EET 699 and I hope that you do the best. Si boleh punya. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Semoga maju jaya. Welcome.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you,
Yang
sir.
lelaki jangan
Thank
lupa
you,
pergi solat Jumaat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yang lelaki tu jangan lupa pergi solat Jumaat. Pergi solat Jumaat. Okay, bye. Okay, don't forget to have lunch either. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm waiting for everyone to go. Welcome. Welcome. How do I end the recording? Can see.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.